All right, welcome. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, happy Sunday. All right, so I see a lot of twos, a lot of twos, a lot of twos. Mo says Wednesday. Mo, I like that. Max says I'm saving my ammo. That's what I'm talking about. So there's a huge feeling, as soon as the markets are open, we want to feel productive. A lot of people think that they're being greedy or they're being impatient, whatever. It's really not impatience, is you just want to be productive. And I think the perspective shift is, what are the things that actually make you successful or consistent as a trader? It's following a plan, not over trading. It's having a consistent schedule of when you're looking to enter based on how the volume is distributed. Like, there's some sessions that are completely dead. You don't want to be trading those. There's some days where the market is still establishing structure, Sunday and Monday. And then there's certain days where the market will release a bunch of liquidity back. You know, like it'll be trending bullish all week, and then Fridays give it all back. If you're not aware of how the weekly cycle is for your pair, something to definitely pay attention to. Okay. All right, welcome. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, please drop a like, just so this the algorithm pushes it out to more people. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. So I guess we have to do like an official intro, right? Is that how this works? All right, I'll do an official intro. All right, welcome everybody to another Sunday Market Outlook hosted by ChartAddicts. My name is Roy Dunya. I was a broker-dealer and a wealth manager for years. And then I transitioned, I've become a full-time trader since 2021. I mostly trade NASDAQ 100 as an index. I trade it using CFDs. And if you guys are interested in learning more about us, I run a company called ChartAddicts, which is how you guys know about the stream. ChartAddicts education platform. We focus on performance coaching for traders. Hit the like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and let's get started with this outlook. So the purpose of the outlook, like I was just describing, is to prepare for the week so you're not caught off guard by any surprises. You want to have a few trade scenarios mapped out, because the market can, a lot of people try to predict too much, especially on the weekends before the market starts moving. What you want to do is establish some high likelihood trades and then establish multiple scenarios. The market is either going to break or it's going to reject. If it breaks, here's what I'm going to do. If it rejects, here's my plan B. When you're prepared to that level, you're not going to get caught off guard. There's no surprises. And to me, it's the best way to, improve your trading and become more of a professional. So the agenda real quick is going to be, we're going to go through the news outlook for the week. I'm going to go through the trades that I'm personally watching, and then I'm going to take the suggestions of any ChartAddicts members for what markets you guys want me to go through. All right. And at the very end, maybe I'll stick around for some Q&A, have some fun. We'll see. Stick around. All right, let's get the show on the road. So I'm using Forex Factory. This is how I keep my eye on all the Forex news. And the most important thing is I'm just trying to filter for this week. So the first thing I do is I'm going to filter just for the time span that I'm looking at. And then there's a filter tab over here on the right. I'm going to use that to only look for high impact news. Yellow folders and gray folders typically don't move markets. And then even orange folders typically don't move markets. I'm looking for high impact news that could potentially give my trade the juice that it needs or make my trade reverse. I'm looking for emergency signals or something to confirm my trade, add fuel to the fire. What I also like to do is filter out the currencies I'm watching. Personally, I mostly trade USD pairs, and occasionally I'll look at Euro. So I'm going to deselect all of the minors, and I might keep a few of these. I'll keep Euro, GBP, JPY, and USD. So a much cleaner list here. When you're trying to look for all the Forex news, it's going to crush. It's going to crush you. It's going to be overwhelming, and you're not going to be able to build a solid game plan. It's like trying to walk through a whole field of landmines. Instead, I want to look for things that are specific to NASDAQ. Now, if you guys are interested in trading NASDAQ, we're doing a bootcamp later this month on what moves the markets, the data points to watch for. But I try to look for things that are specifically going to touch that pair. So CPI is a big one. That's the topic of discussion right now. That's going to be a mover. PPI, which is the Producers Price Index. It's basically an inflation measure, but for producers, people who make our stuff. If the people who make our stuff are paying more to make it, they're going to end up charging us more. So essentially, the Producer Price Index is an early indicator for inflation on the consumer side. So that's going to be a mover. Then we have core retail sales. This is huge. So if you guys don't know how the economy works, people spending money is the very, very foundation. So when you get paid more at work, you go spend more. When you lose your job, you're not spending. So when everyone has a job and there's money flowing around, people keep buying stuff. And that's why you guys still see prices at the grocery stores high and prices everywhere still high, because people are still getting paid and they're getting paid more because of inflation. And so the demand is still there. Sales are still high. And so we're going to see how this turns out. We're expecting a 0.4% increase in August. So how much do people spend in August? We're expecting that to be higher than July. So the way I look at news is based on this expectations number, the forecast. If the real number that comes out beats the expectation, it's more positive than the expectation, stock markets respond positively. They go up. When we have a miss, so the real data point comes out and it's lower than the expectation or worse than the expectation, that's where we get a surprise in the markets, and typically we see bearish momentum. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. I see Wednesday and Thursday are going to be huge movers. Not looking to trade Friday this week. And so if you trade GU or GJ or any of the GBP pairs, Wednesday is going to be the day for you. If you're trading any Euro pairs, there's the monetary policy statement, which is essentially like their Fed meeting. So that's going to be huge. And then there's a press conference. So they're going to do the statement and then the press conference. They're expecting no change in the rate, I believe. Yeah, it looks like they're expecting no change. So if anything is different than 4.25, then this is going to be a massive, massive mover for euros in either direction, depending on how this comes out. So Euro traders, Thursday, the rest of us, Wednesday, Thursday. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are still awake. I know this is not the sexiest topic, but obviously very important. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, again, make sure you guys hit the like button. We just went through the Forex Weekly Outlook. Put something in the chats if you guys are still on the same page. Are we good? I'm looking at the Zoom chat here. Okay, looks like we're doing good. Let's keep the show rolling. Kier says, can't wait for Thursday. Kier, what's on Thursday? Oh, you're just saying for the news in general? Okay. So first thing I do over the Sundays before I even start looking at any other pairs is look at the DXY. Now, the DXY is a composite index. It's basically tracking the dollar versus all the other currencies in the world. So don't get it mistaken that the DXY is equal to the USD. It's not. So the dollar makes up about 70% of this index, and then it's basically weighted against the yen, the euro, the pound, and some of the other major currencies. So whenever the DXY is going up, it's not just the dollar is getting strong, it's the dollar is getting strong relative, so compared to all the other currencies. So this is the first thing I look at, especially if I'm trading any dollar pairs. Besides NASDAQ, I trade Euro USD and USD JPY. Both of those very dollar heavy. And of course, you know, the reason I trade those is because I live in this country. It's easy for me to keep up with US news. I already have my eye on the ball. So it just falls in naturally. Okay, so DXY, we had support here. We had the liquidity grab through support. We had the retest, pushed all the way to the first zone, and then price broke through. So what I'm expecting now is, let's look at structure. We always talk about structure is the most important thing. We had a series of highs and lows. Okay, so the highs were getting lower, the lows were getting lower. All of a sudden, after this, whatever you guys want to call this, I'll call it a liquidity grab. You guys can call it induction, whatever you guys want to call this. After this push through the zone and recovery, we've now broken through these two areas of previous resistance. So we had lower highs forming. Then now all of a sudden we've had a shift in momentum, and now we have higher highs forming. With the higher highs, we've also been forming higher lows. So we've established a bullish shift in momentum. Typically what happens here is we're going to get a retracement here pretty soon. So once we've broken this level, the retracement's either going to be back to this previous zone here, 103.7, and continue, or a push through the range. And as long as the market creates a higher low, then we get a continuation. So with any trending market, you have two options. You have a shallow retracement, so like probably 20 to 30%, and then you have a deeper retracement. Those are the two options I'm watching for. I'm very bullish on the dollar, so that's not going to change, but a retracement is due very soon. If you guys have been trading Euro USD, waiting for it to pop up, it's coming, but it's going to take a little bit of time. All right, so whenever the market is coming in for some kind of retracement, you'll see multiple rejections over multiple days, probably 4, 5, 6 days. Over here, we had a consolidation for about a week. It popped up for 1 or 2 days, and then we retraced for 2 or 3 days. These moves take a week, week and a half. So we may consolidate, pull back, and then just continue. Do not lose your challenge or your account or blow money trying to getting trapped in these areas. When the market is consolidating and wicking and there's no real direction, trade in that range. Get in and out. Don't wait for that swing trade move that could potentially come. Once the market finally does a solid retracement and you get some confirmations, then you know the trend is ready to go. So for the dollar, that's what I'm waiting for, consolidation, retest. If we go in for a deeper pullback, no problem. All we have to do is look left, find areas of structure, so like areas of support, line them up and see where the most touches are. So in this case, it would be right here. And then start to look for probable areas where the market could reject, either here or here. Look for the rejections. If price holds double bottoms, then you can start to trade the trend. If DXY is bullish, let's just see if you guys are awake. If the DXY is bullish, how can I take advantage of this trend? What can I trade to take advantage of this? And don't just tell me the pair, tell me the direction as well. If the DXY is bullish, what am I looking for on, how can I make money on this information? YouTube, how we doing? If you guys are watching on YouTube, how we doing? How we doing? How we doing? You guys still awake? Okay, we got some options here. We got UJ longs, Mo's on top of it. Lily says NAS sells, sell EU. I don't know about the NAS sells, but we can talk about that. Sell EU, GU sell. Noah also said short NAS, EU sells, gold sells. Lily, you were right. And Noah, you guys are right too. Shorting NAS does make sense, but there's a lot of other factors that go into shorting NAS. When a lot of money is being pumped into the dollar and it's overperforming compared to other currencies, typically it means people are putting their money in the US. So the best way to bet on the United States is, number one, to hold the US dollar. But number two is to put your money in the US stock market. And so we tend to see both of those go hand in hand. Now, yeah, that's just basically it. They have been moving pretty counter-correlated. So you guys can see the bearish retracement on NASDAQ started right here in July. But the dollar's been, and so this is where the dollar started to push bullish, is right here in July. So technically they have been moving correlated. I just don't like to look at the correlation between the DXY and NASDAQ. I prefer to use it for currencies. Way more straightforward. So the DXY still has some room before it retraces, or it's going to do this, for example. If it's going to go down, then up, you'll see Euro USD do the opposite. It'll go up, then down. All right. So let's start with the currencies first, and then I'll go to NASDAQ. Save the best for last. All right, so we have this area of support down here. So all I'm looking at is structure. Structure is king. We can look at trend as well. So higher time frame, all of 2021, it was bearish. Sometime in September, October of last year, this is when the DXY started to shift. We had that bullish momentum. And then even though the market is kind of like, we're in this sideways range, it kind of looks like we may have this turnaround. Technically speaking, we're still in a bullish trend. Because if we look at the structure, the lows are getting higher and the highs are getting higher. All right, so here's the rule. This is the first line of defense. So the market is going to play around this area first. It's going to entice buyers and sellers to get trapped here. Personally, I like to buy low. All right, so I will be buying in this area if there are any trades, looking to take the market up. The market may just play around this range and then move to the next level. Now, you guys actually answer this question for me. Does a break of this previous low right here indicate a bearish trend? Like, is this thing definitely just going to continue bearish if we break this low? Is this enough of an indication of the continuation of that trend? You guys can say yes or no. Alex says no. Anybody else? What do you guys think? And gals? Is a break of that local low, is that an indication of a continuation of the trend? Yes or no? All right, let me look at YouTube real quick. Let's see what YouTube's saying. So someone says no. Joseph says yes, no, yes, no, no. Not necessarily, could be a liquidity grab. Okay. The answer is no. So the way I look at it is, this is the area of support and resistance. Okay, so you guys can see the market created a low right here and a high right here. Let me clean this up real quick. So the market was pushing up. We established a ceiling. Okay, floor, respected that ceiling, and then we had a shift and break above it. Okay, we retested it on the way up and then came back to retest it as support. Now, this is very important. All we're looking for is areas where resistance became support, and we have multiple rejections to use as a confirmation. We don't want to just look at one rejection somewhere and be like, yeah, good enough. No, you always want to get the market to confirm these zones. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how big we draw this. If we do to the body of these candles right here, we have another touch. So typically what I'll do is Okay, body right here, and then the body of the retest. Look all the way to the right. We have one touch here, and then we have the extension level at the very bottom. Okay, if you guys aren't fib traders, don't even worry about the extension. Just look at structure for now. So that's the area that we need to break in order for us to have this momentum shifted, in order to really, really have a shift in this trend. Until then, the lower the market gets into this range, the closer we are to that turnaround. It could be at this low right here, or it could be at this area all the way down here. Make sense? Now, I drew a fib for this entire bullish move up. We're at the 88% fib. If we start to hold that support and break back above, I'll be looking for long positions to take the market back up. Very simple. Okay. So you guys have those zones. I've been on this chart long enough. You guys can go back through the recordings and mark those off yourself. Oh, no. Oh, thank God. Okay. All right, that was a solid analysis. Let me make sure I put this back up on my chart right here. I bet y'all just do not want to lose this. Come back and adjust this later. All right, let's go do NASDAQ real quick. I'll keep my eye on Euro USD. It's going to take time to set up, so don't rush it too much. NASDAQ is actually very straightforward. I might have to delete a bunch of stuff just to show you, but same exact trade as last week. Structure is king. Here's the low, higher low, higher low. We have higher highs all the way through. Then again, this is why I asked you guys that question for Euro USD. Market broke up and came back for the retest. We had a break below this structure right here. Okay, so a lot of people were looking at this double bottom, which is probably what we're going to see on Euro USD. Okay, and they were like, okay, it has to continue, and then it broke through. When it broke through, a lot of people turned bearish. So whenever retail turns bearish, that's giving just enough liquidity for the buyers that are waiting right here. Okay, we had this nice liquidity grab through the zone, closure right back above, and then bullish engulfing candle. You guys see what happened. Retest, higher low. So CA members, we talked about this. There was the slowdown in momentum. Then there was the shift in momentum. And then there was the higher low confirmation. So now we've kind of shifted into a bullish momentum again. So then the last piece of this is structure. Go through a very simple model: direction, structure, location, candles. Okay, so we got the direction, bullish, structure. We know that we've just broken this previous high and this one as well. If you guys see the wick that's right here, look all the way through. Market broke above. Now, even though we had a closure back under, the market is showing us that there's bullish intention here. The buyers took us all the way up to that zone, the very top. So how do I look at this? As soon as you have a break above the previous highs, we're going to retest back in. I am still in this trade. I'll say I'm pretty sure. I am still in this trade. Okay. So this is the trade I took last week. I have a trade running from a few weeks ago. I'm down here at 167 or 166. And then I have the retest that I took last week at 247. Let's get back to this. So just so you guys are aware, those two entries are right here. and right here. Make sense? So still holding those. We had a break above this area of structure, a retest back inside the range, closure, like very, very strong bullish closure back in. And then last week we had price hold that support. Okay, so we had this kind of like consolidation. Buyers pushed up into the range and then closed back under. If this was bearish, if we had that rejection and closed back in, we would have closed below these wicks. The fact that price was still sitting in this consolidation shows us that it was just a grab to the upside to trap the early buyers. A lot of buyers were sitting here. They started to chase that wick and the market came all the way down. So stop losses got hit. Then we had a grab to the downside where a lot of people became sellers and then a wick back up. What do we notice about that 4-hour candle? It closed above that range, this consolidation range right here. Then we had a bullish engulfing push up and then a retest right back inside that range. This is where I took the second entry. So we're clearly pushing bullish for now. Here's the area we need to break. If we break that area decisively, that's when I'll be looking for a retest back in and a continuation. This will probably happen tomorrow or Tuesday. So just break of structure, retest back inside that structure, and continuation. Obviously using fibs to find precision entries. You guys get the drill. For my ChartAddicts members, especially my ACP folks, this is just a quick fib breakdown for you guys, just to stay consistent with the theme here. All right, so I drew my fib from the wick of this candle to the wick. So this bearish push down, we had a break above all of these fib levels, and then we came back to retest them one by one. So first we retested the 88.6, had a nice rejection. That was the first sign for me that, okay, potentially we could go long. Then we had a breakthrough. All right, we hit the 71, almost made it to the 61, closed above all the fibs. Not only did we close above the 61 and the 71, we also closed above the 78. All right. And then this candle came back down to retest, closed back above, very strong closure. And now price is sitting above the 88.6. Personally, what I believe is going to happen, because I'm not fully convinced that buyers are going to, take over and go all the way to the moon. I think there's a chance that we push up to retest this consolidation range. Okay, so we push up inside of this range right here. And if it wants to drop, it'll do it from up here, 15,500. So for now, I'm bullish up till 15,500. Around 15,500, we could see some turnaround and a reversal back in. If the market is if you guys are looking for buy entries, if the market comes back down to retest any of these fibs and rejects, potential entries down here. Stop loss below this wick. Okay, you can catch a re-entry. Where do you take your profits? Okay, previous wick, and then 15,500. Any questions, comments, concerns about NAS? Very straightforward. Throw a like in the, man, if you guys are watching on YouTube, throw a like. Come on now. He said, have you had experiences with IM Academy? Bro, was this 2012? What are we talking about? No, I promised myself I wouldn't do this. I'm going to be more respectful in the YouTube comments, guys. I got some notes. All right. Last time I told you guys I'm going to let it loose. And, it didn't really work out for me. I was getting text messages. My mother watched the stream for like 2 seconds. My dad was like, yo, Roy's on the stream. You should check it out. I'm out here like, oh, fuck this and fuck that. And you know what I'm saying? Jerome Powell, my dick. And my mom was like horrified. Bro, I got text messages and calls. She's like, why market go up? You say, fuck this, fuck this. I'm like, mama, I don't know what to tell you. All right. Just to be completely real. She said, market go up, market go down. My son, he's saying, fuck this on YouTube. I'm like, mama, It's a harsh world out here. People they drive me to this edge. He said, what are the effects of NASDAQ with Huawei new chip? Well, Huawei is a Chinese company, if I'm not mistaken. So not really sure how it's going to affect the NASDAQ, but there's 5 main stocks that affect NAS. It's the top 5 tech giants. You can see Apple, NVIDIA now, or NVIDIA, however you pronounce it. Amazon, Tesla, Google, and Microsoft. And so those are the biggest drivers of the tech sector. And those make up, I think, 30% of the entire index. So we'll be covering all of that in the NASDAQ Bootcamp October 1st. This concludes the Sunday Market Outlook. Let me give you guys some reminders real quick, and then we'll do Q&A. All right. If there's any pairs you guys want me to cover as CA members, we'll do it in the Q&A portion. But October 1st, we're hosting a NASDAQ 100 Bootcamp. If you guys want to learn how to trade NASDAQ 100 with a proven strategy that's been tested, you guys want to learn something that's practical, you can take and use by yourself. October 1st to the 3rd, we're hosting a NASDAQ Bootcamp. How you guys can sign up is go to our website, ChartAddictsFX.com. It's going to take a second to load. ChartAddictsFX.com. You guys will be able to find the link there to register for the bootcamp. It's also in the description on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already to do more of these streams. If you guys want to keep in touch with us, Discord. There's a Discord link in the description on YouTube as well. Make sure you guys join us on Discord. We'll put all the updates there, whatever calls we do, whatever live streams, and any new content that we put out. Okay? That kind of wraps up this stream. If you guys want to hop off, take it easy. Q&A if you guys want to stick around. Let's kind of just do back and forth Q&A, whatever you guys want to do. All right. If there's any pairs you guys want me to go through, now is the time, or forever hold your peace. What time is the NASDAQ Bootcamp going to be? It's going to be 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. It will be recorded, but only for those who attended the live or who are registered for the live bootcamp. And you'll be able to access all the videos on the website with your access pass. Josh says, let him have it, Royce. Bro, this is the voice on my shoulder, man. Josh, you're the problem. All right. Well, technically, I'm the problem. Let's take some personal responsibility here. I'm the problem. But it doesn't help when I got people saying, fight in the back corner, bro. It doesn't help. Now, then again, my mindset is rock solid, so I ain't really worried about it. But it's, you're implicated in this. He said, we need the gulag back. Bro, Max, wasn't it effective? It was so effective. All right, look at us now. We got a dream team. Come on, Max. We got nothing but snipers and killers in the chat now. Just great traders left and right. I see you guys posting in the chats. Just because I'm not responding doesn't mean I don't see it. You guys see me drop the emojis. You guys see me drop a reaction here and there. Sometimes I'll drop a super reaction, right? So now we got a perfect ecosystem here. He said, I'm joking. Max, I was being dead serious, brother. I'm looking for this gulag to come back. It's like what we're doing now, socialist. Everybody gets it. Everyone gets a chance. Everyone gets a few chances. All right. You fuck it up. I don't know. We have to talk about it. So don't let these haters take you to violence. Nah, I do this for fun. I really enjoy this. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't know what's wrong. It might be problematic. Who knows? When on MT5 and you're looking at volume, what time frame do you look at, and what level do you think is good volume? 1,000, 1,500, 2,000? I don't really look at volume like that, only because to get an accurate view of the volume, you need some kind of order flow indicator, something very accurate. I can't see the order flow, right? For me, I can tell volume because I understand session times. And this is something I'll cover in the NASDAQ Bootcamp, is there are specific windows of opportunity in between the sessions, right? I'll give you guys a quick sort of sneak peek here. Okay. These windows of opportunity are going to be your chance to take advantage of the market. So I understand low volume sessions, I understand setups, and I understand high volume. Okay, so again, low volume sessions. Technically, you can do whatever you want with London, but if you consider that a high volume session, I got something to tell you. So I'll kind of call this like a whipsaw, and then there's the pre-session kind of like opportunity. and then there's high volume. So for me, it's more about schedule than it is about trying to time it or trying to look for an indicator, because most volume indicators are lagging. Lagging specifically means it's going to be late. You're looking at previous data, and it's just sort of trying to do its best to project what's going to happen next. You can do the same, right? So it's a Sunday. Sundays, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have low volume. If we have some massive push, we're going to have low volume right after that. Most people just don't study the markets. Like, look at how often the markets consolidate versus move. And before they move, that grab. Now, CA members, you guys get this. But then you get a move down and then consolidation and retracement. Okay, you have this choppiness. You get a move down. Right after that, consolidation. All right, so low volume right now. It's Sunday. Let structure form. If we break the highs and establish new structure up here, then we know exactly what we're going to do Monday night going into Tuesday. Okay, wait for the pullback. New York Open, wait for the second pullback, and then enter the second pullback at New York Open on Tuesday. If it's bearish, it'll break those lows. And then on Tuesday, we'll just wait for the pullback here and short it. So let it establish structure, very important. Okay, so we got US 30 and gold. Let's go through those real quick. Well, US 30 hit the retest entry. So for now, bullish, 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 still establishing a higher low. All right, so we have this previous area of structure. We had a shift in momentum up. So now we have a higher high. And then price is holding this higher low. So as long as price holds a higher low, then I can see the market continuing bullish. All right, now let's take a look at one thing, which is, can the market come back to retest down here and still be bullish? Technically, yes, but because of the location, I would wait for this to recover back up and catch a retest. So right now, the two options, if you guys want to trade US 30, is here's the low. So there's the body and the wicks. The re-entry is going to be probably closer to the body, maybe somewhere in between those. So if you're looking for a retest entry, I would try for the double bottom first. If it violates the double bottom, I would look for the second double bottom, okay, at the next fib level, 34,050. Let's go to the smaller time frames and see how that would look. Okay. So this is the main use of the Fibonacci tool. The Fibonacci retracement tool is we have this impulsive move up. And so to see if we're going to hold the higher low, like, we can break these areas of structure, that's fine. But we have to hold these fibs. All right, specifically for US 30, doesn't really respect the 88.6. So ideally, I'd like to see anywhere between 60 to 80%. Okay, a retracement down here, and I just want to see higher lows form. If we see that, this is literally the perfect entry for the pushback up. Would you guys agree? Precision, 34,037.50. Are you kidding me? 37. Oh, we're going to come back to this recording later. Okay, I will be taking these trades. I'll be taking US 30 and I'll be taking NASDAQ this week. Straightforward as ever. Is Oanda your broker? No, it's not. I use Oanda because it's the closest one to the broker feeds that I use. Right now, I'm only using FTMO and Fortune's Funding, but that's for a challenge. UJ looks prime time for a buy. Very tempting. Very tempting to go long. What I'll do is I'm going to wait for the retest. About 35 pips. This thing could just keep pushing. All right, we had the high right here. Had the high get broken. Came back down to retest. Here's the previous low. Higher low. I think we're going to push up one time. So I'm not going to chase this. We're about 35 pips away from a better entry. Better entry meaning this is our entry. That's our stop loss. If we enter now, stop loss is the same, but entry is very different. Okay, I want this trade here. Great risk and reward. I said I was going to do gold, right? Okay, I don't know when I covered this, but it looks like price rejected, hit TP1, almost went to TP2, came all the way back up. This is why we take partial profits. This is sneaky. Okay, this is very, very deliberate. It technically didn't hit stop loss, but it would have hit the break even had that been there. Then price came down, hit TP2, and I'm seeing a bit of a double bottom rejection here. So what I think will happen is we have a much better liquidity zone down here that we haven't respected yet. Actually, have we? Like what my first thought is, boom, come down to the daily zone before we come up. Okay, a lot of people see the double bottom rejections. It's at a good level of interest right here. And that could be the push up. Here's how I verify. Draw the fib, bottom to top. Layer the fibs right here. Okay, it's good. All right. My bad, y'all. I'm just having fun with this. Okay. All right. Got it all mapped out. So you guys see the lows getting formed. So we had this like little consolidation, and the market shot straight down and then had the body of the candle close above that support. And now we're starting to kind of push some bullish momentum here. So we'll most likely break this one in the next hour. If we break both of these previous local highs, so we kind of go like this, perfect scenario, wait for the higher low entry at 19.18 and then take that buy position up. The target is going to be 19.25. Now, this is why it's worth waiting a day or two, especially when the market first opens. because you might have a push up and it can't quite break those highs and wants to come down to this level first. If it does that, you can either buy down here or wait for the recovery. Well, actually, the recovery has to break this high. So wait for the recovery and then catch the higher low retest. So you have option 1, then option 2. Fair enough. If the dollar starts flying bullish and this thing crashes, very simple. Wait for the break of structure. Wait for the retest back in, and then we can short that. I'm not a breakout trader, so I don't even want to entertain that idea. I really want to look for this move, and that's it. Measure a fib from the top to the bottom. Look for the 78. Take the rejection of the 78. 1925. So buys at 1918, sells at 1926. Voila. Throw a like if you guys are on YouTube and you enjoyed this breakdown. All right, everybody. That was a hell of an Outlooks, 53 minutes. Love to see it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. We'll do a quick Q&A. I'll riff. It's pretty late in the stream, so this is typically where I'll start saying some outlandish things. So please ask responsible questions and don't put me in a corner, in a spot, where I could potentially, get myself in trouble. Do you believe fundamentals determines the trend? Yes, on the higher time frames, Lily. So day by day, it's completely irrelevant. You'll see a positive news event have a negative effect on the market all the time, more times than not. But if you look at the higher time frame, the news never lies. Look at the data, and follow the money. Lily says, Bank of Japan might hop in and buy up their currency. As last time JPY was this week, they did. Yeah, that's true. But the thing about the Bank of Japan is they have their hands tied. Their bond market is collapsing at the same time as their currency is collapsing. Now, a bond market is way more important to a country than its currency. I know this is a crazy concept for a lot of you guys, but the only way a government can function, especially if their country doesn't really produce too much nowadays. So the way their government can function is to tax the citizens and then to issue bonds where people can give money to the government and then they can pay them back later. Bonds are extremely important at financing their government. They have a choice, collapse the currency or collapse the bond market, and they made their choice clear. They're saving the bonds at the expense of the currency. And I think they will continue on that path for the long term. JPY, I do not see going back bullish or changing its trend for a very long time. All right, until they shift that policy. China banned Apple. Any thoughts about the effects on production? China banned Apple. Well, I don't know if you guys saw the price of the recent iPhones, but that should tell you everything you need to know about how this is going to play out. Okay, I'm not against America deglobalizing and becoming much less dependent on other countries, but we all better be ready to pay $3,000 for a fucking iPhone. Okay, that's just what it is. Now, there's other geopolitical factors that other people don't pay attention to. I see India being a huge opportunity. I see India being about 10 years behind China in terms of infrastructure, but in terms of production, they're way up there. And so India may take a bunch of market share from countries that no longer want to work with China because those two countries have too much, they don't really need each other. So there's going to be some contention there. So personally, I understand that India is included in the BRICS agreement. I don't see that BRICS agreement going too far. You can't have totalitarian leaders all beefing with each other or trying to work with each other and expect a bunch of A players to cooperate. You get chaos. Excited for this week. Have a schedule, follow the plan, don't overtrade, and be consistent. Josh, I'm going to add 2 more to those. Trade with the trend only, and then only trade from the highs and lows of the day. If you guys do me those 2 favors, we're going to have a great week ahead of us, and we're all going to make money. All right, follow your plan. So what is it? Plan your trades, trade your plan. Risk management is key. Only trade from the highs and lows of the day. Show up every day, but don't trade every day. What's the last one? Yeah, that's it. You can when they believe they have a common enemy. Yeah, until that common enemy is no longer a threat, right? The only reason that the US is a threat is because of the global reserve status. So well, there's more than that. I mean, obviously, military, everything else. If they neutralize the US dollar threat and they go onto an independent system, they're going to like once that common enemy is gone, then you look at your real enemy in the room and you look at each other like, all right, so here's how this is going to work. You work for me now. And Modi's going to look at Xi Jinping and be like, buddy, let me tell you one thing. I don't work for nobody. And that's where things are going to get very heated. And so I think that's going to be the sales pitch for the West to keep a lot of their alliances. Be like, look, this transition is going to be very messy. When these guys start beefing, do you really want to be a part of this? China and India and Russia, they can afford to beef with each other. They got money. What about you, Angola? Do you want to be in the middle of this and go through this transition to a Chinese currency or the BRICS currency? Or do you want to stay right here with the dollar system? Hasn't been working the best, but it's not going to devastate your country in the same way that transitioning is going to. That's my pitch for why the BRICS currency is trash. He said they'll write movies about this shit. Yes, Miles. And are you going to be part of the movie? Or are you going to be on the sidelines watching? All of you guys better get in game. That's the beauty of Forex. This is why I love this game. I got into this space because I would look around at what's happening in the world, see opportunities, see challenges, and I would ask myself, how can I bet on this information? I was constantly right about trends happening, like Bitcoin and other trends. And I was like, I need to be able to put my bet in the market and make money from my, prediction. Not necessarily prediction. You guys get what I mean? My analysis of the situation. So that's what I'm doing now. The JPY is going to continue crashing. And so I will keep buying UJ for the end of time until currencies collapse. Euro USD, I'll be shorting the euro and I'll be going long the dollar until the end of time. Now, are there going to be 12-month periods where the markets retrace? Fine. I'll see you guys in 5 years and you guys will remember this. That guy, Roy from ChartAddicts, said UJ was bullish and EU was bearish and everybody said he was crazy. But that motherfucker was right. You guys come back and be like, yo, you were right. He says NAS Bootcamp, which is in the description. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, head over to the website, ChartAddictsFX.com. October 1st, we're hosting our first ever live bootcamp to go through my NASDAQ strategy. If you guys want a tested and proven strategy on how to succeed day trading NAS, this is the bootcamp for you. 3 days. Day one's going to be fundamentals. What drives NASDAQ? The stocks that are involved, the biggest data releases that impact the pair, and how to gauge ahead of time what the trend is going to be. Day two's technicals, how to use an intraday trading strategy to take advantage, how the market moves, the average cycles, how many pips does NASDAQ move a day, et cetera, et cetera. And the last day is going to be mindset and risk management, how to scale in when day trading NASDAQ, when to walk away, when to double down. And that's going to be the perfect bootcamp for you if you're serious about your trading. And if it's not for you, let us know if you guys know somebody that's interested in taking their trading to the next level. If you're looking for one-on-one, we also offer personalized coaching. Head over to ChartAddictsFX.com. That's how you can find us. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like before you head out. Take it easy. Happy and safe trading. Peace.